Well, let's move it along here. Let's talk about Week 5 news and headlines. We'll start with the injury report over here because it is a long list and it's actually quite concerning to me. Yeah, so I'm gonna just run through these. If there's anybody you want to talk about,
Okay.
we can stop and we can discuss them a little bit.
Okay.
Starting with Tampa Bay, got 2 injuries, both in the DB position. Cornerback Carlton Davis has a quad injury. Antoine Winfield is being evaluated for concussion. He possibly could be back this week. Very much so, possibly could not.
Right.
Washington football team loses tight end Logan Thomas to a hamstring. Chicago loses running back David Montgomery to a knee sprain, and also loses defensive tackle or defensive lineman rather, Akeem Hicks to a groin injury. Denver quarterback Teddy Bridgewater concussion. That was a nasty hit too. I'm surprised he didn't get ejected from the game for that. But Denver cornerback rookie corner Patrick Surtain also injured. He has a chest injury.
Oh, boy.
San Francisco kicker Robbie Gould hamstring injury.
Was
Lance,
that on a kick?
Pay attention. San Francisco.
Did he do that on a kick attempt? Field goal attempt?
I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't watching the game at the time. I flipped back and then you see them trying to kick that onside kick with their backup kicker. So
Quiet as kept, man. Robbie Gould that's a veteran now.
Oh, yeah.
He's been like 12 years and 12 seasons now about this point.
Got to be over 12 years.
I
might
mean,
want to look
I
that
remember
up.
him in his rookie year. I'm like, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm just thinking back, like, man, he has
You know
played
what's funny?
a lot of years.
We almost got him back too. San Francisco blocked it.
Oh.
But San Francisco also loses quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, as we stated, to a calf injury. And San Francisco loses left tackle Trent Williams.
I'll let you
to a
finish, but let's discuss. Come back to
No,
Garoppolo.
let's jump into Garoppolo right now. I just wanted to finish San Francisco
sorry.
with Trent Williams' shoulder injury as well. That's going to be a big one at left tackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down, calf injury, another injury on his long list of injuries.
Is this a foreshadowing of what we seen in San Francisco last year? Is what I'm saying. We already started with the running game, but I'm noticing a trend here. But there is something critically wrong with the health of the San Francisco organization, and players are dropping like flies. It is like injury central starting in San Francisco. Like that is where the headquarters is, and this team. I'm curious now because I'm big on Garoppolo.
Yeah.
But he can't stay healthy.
Yep.
And but he's on a team that can't stay healthy either,
But I think his injuries also do go back to New England too, though. So
got an injury at New England, but he was still long enough to see if he would have kept getting it. So it's not a good track record, and I want to say I think this is it, man. I know
it for him in San Francisco or it for him in the
San
NFL?
Francisco.
Okay.
Because I'm basically the nails are in the coffin, but they're gonna get pounded in shut the minute Trey Lance has one good game, and he only needs.
The thing is, to me, I think he was already being moved out.
Which they were already. I don't know if they were doing that just yet, but
I felt like it because even with the way that they wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo as the starter and have him play out this season, it just looked like more and more, especially as they started having issues winning games.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It just didn't feel like they really wanted to trot out Jimmy Garoppolo. It just felt like they were ready for Trey Lance, and whether Trey Lance was ready or not, they just wanted to get him some experience, have him go which sucks now because now he loses his left tackle, Trey Lance does, in Trent Williams. So he loses that protection on that side of the ball. But it just, to me, I like Jimmy Garoppolo because like we've constantly stated this dude has a 75% win record whenever he plays. But that's the thing. It's in this. I will hit my mantra again. Best ability is availability, and he's not available again now. This is, and it's actually quite sad because he's played very well his entire career.
Right.
It's just this feels like a Grant Hill, if you will.
Interesting.
They just can't get the injuries won't let him get out of his own way. So
Gotcha. Yeah. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to make mention. I think
Yeah.
we would be remiss not to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo when given opportunity, and it's relevant.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that is one of the most, if not the most significant it's one of the most significant injuries that happened in week 4.
Yeah.
I think the most devastating one has to be David Montgomery, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And based but San Francisco might beg to differ. Like, it's our freaking quarterback.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I think they're like 1A, 1B. Like,
those are the two biggest injuries of the week.
Yeah, yes. So I just wanted to make sure we at least make some mention to this, not just kind of gloss over it. But I wanted to start with Garoppolo because I see a trend coming. And now, as much as I like him, I just think his days are numbered now in San Francisco. With that, and now my fandom is coming out. Bears, we're going to need a backup next year. That's all I'm throwing out there.
I understand that. I just don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be looking for a backup role.
I don't think he is either. I was just saying. Maybe he can't find
especially with the openings that are going to be like, now we clearly are going to see Pittsburgh is going to open up. Denver's opening up.
Houston maybe by next year because I don't know what Davis Mills. I know that there's going to be some jobs up there, but Davis Mills might keep it. I don't know, but
I don't. Based off of this week against Buffalo, absolutely.
But it's Buffalo.
But still, I don't care. That was bad.
He can hide behind this one. Like, dude, it's Buffalo. Come on.
I
get it.
I wouldn't have any reason to say against that, but I would also be as David Coley. I'd be like, sorry, dude. After that, no.
I'm like, I'm freaking David Mills. Come on, this is freaking Buffalo. What do you expect? You gotta talk now. That's the only way he gonna sell it. You try to defend yourself, you're done. There's nothing you can say. Yes, you're. So I'm just saying, I did throw Houston in the hat. I threw their name in the hat. Like Houston's another opening.
Yeah.
So
there's openings everywhere.
I already knew that. The Bears need a backup.
We'll find one. We'll
come on home because you want to come home.
Come back to Eastern Illinois.
Right.
No. I agree, but we're only halfway through the injuries. So Green Bay cornerback Jair Alexander, that one's actually pretty massive too. He has a shoulder injury. He's actually somebody I like. So yeah, Jair, that's actually a sad one.
That was to Green Bay, not to Jair.
Baltimore offensive tackle Alejandro Villanueva goes down with a knee injury. Miami cornerback. This one's a big one. Byron Jones is out with a quad injury.
So was the Villanueva? You thought if he just left Pittsburgh, he was going to avoid him injury?
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Oh, God.
Go ahead.
Cleveland left tackle Jedrick Wills goes down with an ankle injury. Dallas has a duo injury here. Wide receiver Amari Cooper hamstring and Dallas cornerback Trayvon Diggs with back tightness. That one's actually a pretty big one because Trayvon Diggs has been he's an MVP candidate to me based off the way he's been playing so far this season. Detroit defensive lineman Romeo Okwara goes down with the Achilles. I think his season is over because he just went down for surgery, I think, today. So that is going to be a wrap on him. And then Minnesota cornerback Brashad Breeland listed as illness. I'm hoping that is not COVID.
Well, I think illness, and it's generally not COVID. They usually will have something COVID related.
Well, because when the initial report comes out, it starts with illness, and then they'll tell you if it's COVID related or not COVID related.
Okay, I've never seen that.
So that's why I'm like, they listed it as illness. I haven't seen an update yet. I'm not trying to foreshadow that it is going to be COVID related, but it is Minnesota, and they are one of the teams that have quite a few people on their roster that are against getting the vaccine.
Well, it is after 4 in New York, so
no.
I mean, it might be coming down the pipeline, but I have nothing that's flashed up. I like it could be man just might have influenza. Simple as that. But let's hope that's all it is.
I'm just gonna look it up really quick since it is that time. See if
we have not had a lot of COVID situations. Thank goodness. Knock on wood this year, because man, by this time last year, I think we were just up to our necks with COVID situations. And we couldn't get from out in front of that bus at all.
Yeah. No updates. Still listed as illness, so it might not be COVID related. Might be. We just don't know.
Don't know.
But those are the injuries. It's a long list from week 4. Those a lot of guys went down.
Just think it can be just as long next week.
True.
Just upon a bunch of names, we just have no idea who this is going to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gosh.
This is this was not a good week for the turf monsters, the nasty hits and whatnot. They definitely got out there and wrecked a couple of guys' weeks here. But headlines to talk about. Number one, I mean the biggest one of them all, Stefan Gilmore gets traded to Carolina. And I told you it was a 6th round pick, but guess what? It doesn't come until 2023.
Wow.
How the hell did Carolina get away with that one? This should be tampering. This should be an illegal trade. I don't know.
For a bag of Lays, they basically just got their player.
For a 6th round pick that you can just trade your scraps to get another 6th round pick back, you got one of the top.
I think compensatory picks more valuable than this. Man.
There's compensatory picks in
like
the 4th
I'm being
round.
serious, but I know it sounds. I'm like I'm being a little sarcastic, but yeah, it's what.
In 2023, this is not even going to affect them in this 2022 draft.
They got a whole nother year to get drafted. Oh my god,
that's insane. But the other thing is that Stefan Gilmore was literally like hours away from being officially released before this happened.
And that's all I kept reading over the day. And then you told me like he got traded. Traded? What are you talking about? He's getting released. Yeah,
those papers literally were just about to get faxed over to the NFL offices.
Then you told me what he got traded for. I'm done. I mean, Carolina, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
I like Carolina. This is a great deal for Carolina. But New England, this is just like another kick to the rest of the NFL.
I would have had a problem if this was like, he got traded over to, Tampa, right?
God, I would have been.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, that's absolutely, completely, 100%. Tampering.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out. No, I ain't going to say collusion.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, man. But yeah, it was all right. Carolina.
And I think there was a report that came out that Stefan Gilmore wanted to go to Carolina. It was one of his preferred destinations, which in hindsight would be like, I don't know how he saw what Carolina's defense was before the rest of us did, but man, he really likes him. That's just a rumor. I don't know if that's an official report or not. Mm-hmm. But another big move that happened today outside of Gilmore was Dallas ended up cutting linebacker Jalen Smith.
Yes.
That one that came out of nowhere for me, and I think that's actually more significant than the Gilmore one.
Just as I didn't. What was the basis of that? I kept
they said something. They would not really talk about it, but they said that they didn't want to. This is me speculation. This is not an official report by any means. To me, from what was stated by the higher ups in the Dallas organization, when they said that it was they didn't want to stop progression, it sounds like they're trying to make it more of this is Micah Parsons' defense than letting Jalen Smith continue to be the leader of this defense and the man in the middle. Which throws me off because regardless, I would love to have two middle linebackers that I could both say, hey, both of you guys, I go ahead. Like this is your defense.
Right.
And I don't see Micah Parsons as a guy to butt heads with a veteran like that. So this is a very confusing one to me. I don't know what the basis was. I don't know why they didn't try to trade him. If you really thought it was going to be that big of an issue.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's played every single game. No injuries.
I know.
When I saw that one come across, I was like, I have no words because it just doesn't make any sense to just cut a talent like that. And whoever gets him is a massive upgrade. He's one of the best middle linebackers in the league to me.
Yeah, quite talented.
Just played on a trash defense for too many years.
I don't know. Maybe being that he playing on trash defense, decided to think out loud and allow one of his coaching staff to hear him, and then they probably said something to him. Then he had an exchange of words, and well, you know what? Everybody's in their feelings, and guess what?
The only thing about that is that people were talking last year, and they didn't make a move like this.
Last year, they couldn't afford to make any moves that dealt with anything that was subtracting from the team. But with that being said, I digress. I'm just speculatory, like maybe he just said the wrong things to somebody behind closed doors or something. I don't know, but
I will say this: Dallas, I don't like the move.
And and the fact that he is out and obviously Jerry Jones signed off over on that, something happened.
And now Trayvon Diggs is down too. Like that's really going to take for as much as we have talked up Dallas's defense over the first 4 games of the season because they have been playing fantastic football. You're missing 2 key pieces now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that for as far as I know about Dallas's defense, they don't have the depth to be like to lose guys like this. So
no,
especially a leader like Jalen. Like, that's the thing. He's a leader on this defense. I just don't understand. There is nothing about this move that makes sense to me.
I don't know. I don't know. They like to do weird things down there in Texas, so
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you what's going on down there. But I'm sure there's a backstory that's going to come out later. You know, if upon doing some digging.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be just national news or anything like that. Something happened and something went down there. May have to come recircle this later.
Yeah,
to figure out.
This is going to be an ongoing, especially to figure out where the hell he's going to go. Because man, but a couple other moves happened. Biggest one I would say, Josh Gordon added to Kansas City's active roster. Now we'll be seeing him in Week 5. And then Chicago also announces Justin Fields to be the starting QB moving forward. Finally, Matt Nagy, shut the hell up about this. Andy Dalton is the starter. It is Justin Fields' team. It is his time. This is moving forward, barring any injuries. This is Justin Fields' team.
Right. He should have just came out and led with this specifically. Like, hey, I just wanted to be clear. Andy Dalton is the number 2.
Yeah.
And then walked away from it. that was it. He didn't even have to mention Justin Fields. Like, just be done with it, man. So I don't want us to rehash too much. I think we talked a little too much about this off air.
Yeah.
Because at the point I don't want to regurgitate it too much. I don't want to give too much life to this him coming out here clearing the air with the Justin Fields thing, because I'm done with him in his press conferences.
Well, the other thing is that he is no longer the play caller in Chicago either.
As of right now.
Yeah, Bill Lazor took over play calling duties.
He keeps doing this back and forth thing. So.
He did that, but I think usually because remember when it happened.
I don't
last
care.
year.
It's just the fact that like, okay, choose either you call the plays or don't call the plays.
Well, because I think that's what the plan was going on in this season. It was like we had a bad year last year. I gave him up just because we needed to get a different look. And then he comes out there, especially after the Cleveland game. That game plan was horrendous. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at this new game plan. Completely unannounced, we saw Bill Lazor calling plays last week. And this is a completely new offense, and they're able to scheme things open better. And it was from what Justin Fields had said in his press conference. It just doesn't seem like Matt Nagy has the time to be the offensive play caller. He has this. He has to look at everything. He is the head coach. He has to look at the defense. He has to look at the special teams. He can't give as much time to the offense as he would need to make things work with his creative packages. He's not an offensive coordinator anymore. You have to look at the entire team, not just that one portion of it. And I think he wasn't able to really find that. Mm-hmm. that balance of being able to make that work. And so with Bill Lazor being up in the booth, being able to look at the entire field and to have this kind of calmness about him where he's only looking at the offense and what he needs to change here or there to make things work, and he doesn't have to go to the bench and go talk to the defense for a second before he can really start calling plays and getting things going.
Right.
He doesn't have to do all that anymore. So now Matt Nagy is going to look at the entire team, stay hands off of the offense, let them do their thing. Bill Lazor's going to take it over. If this is based off of last week, as long as they can take care of the football, not turn the ball over, I'm fine with Bill Lazor being the coordinator. This is actually something I called for after the Cleveland game. It's just, I don't care what it is. Matt Nagy, you can fire him, but especially he should not be calling plays anymore.
Who should we get for another coach? I'm down on this guy at this point.
Before we do that in the second here, I do want to talk about head coaches that are on the hot seat.
Okay, go right ahead. Good segue.
Yeah. But we can start with Matt Nagy because he is on this list. 2-2. I mean, with the record, and that's not nothing to sneeze at, but also had 149s to create a game plan for Justin Fields. Came up with a plan that would only net 1 yard of total offense and 9 sacks to a solid defense, but not a defense that absolutely terrifies everybody. But yeah, Matt Nagy has had for quite a while. A lot of people have been quietly chanting that he needs to be fired and we need to replace him. He's not the dude for the job. I have been championing that he has been a very good head coach to just dealt with horrible GM moves and horrible quarterback play. But then based off of that game plan alone was a fireable offense to me. So your thoughts, Matt Nagy? Should he stay or should he go?
I think it's time for him to go.
Right.
He's been here long enough. But whatever, they want to say, well, he didn't get the players that he wanted and he just came into a situation. Well, he chose to come to Chicago. Yeah. So he obviously signed off on the personnel. I would say he did the best he could do with Mitchell Trubisky, given the circumstances. I thought from that context, I think he did a hell of a job. He inherited a team with a very good defense. The Bears was never the doormat during his tenure, but they were never that. They never made that. They didn't make that turn the way they were supposed to. Did make the playoffs twice in his tenure. And I think he's a decent coach overall. I just don't think he's a good fit for Chicago. And I'm saying that to say in general for any coach that Chicago takes takes a certain type of philosophy and coaching style for success in Chicago, in the Chicago market. It's just the way things are done in that city. I'm of the opinion, no matter how this season ends, that the Chicago organization needs to move on to new leadership. Definitely a new head coach. Of course,
new GM.
It's a package deal. New GM.
Ted Phillips needs to go too. That's what I've been saying. He's long overdue to be fired.
If they can get it up to him as well, I mean, I'm good if they just need to clean house. I mean, yeah. Miss McCaskey, you know,
she's not going anywhere. She owns it.
I know she ain't going anywhere. You just need to sell your shares and just be done with this, because we're just at the point of we got to move on, But my reason of saying that is, if you had just off the top of your head right now, who would you think is a good fit to replace Matt Nagy?
I definitely would be willing to go down to the college ranks, go get Lane Kiffin, or Lane. Is it Lane Kiffin is the one? Who's the one at Oklahoma?
Good question. Give me a second. I have somebody else.
Lincoln Riley.
I have somebody else in mind, but it's not in the college ranks.
Yeah. Well, if we are going to go that route, these are going to be easy guys to pull up. They'll definitely take the job. I mean, Lincoln Riley might not, just based off of he has been offered head coaching jobs in the past, and he's just I'm good at Oklahoma, which is a great spot to be in. I mean, they love football over there. But I would Lincoln Riley, if you're gonna go college ways, I would want Lincoln Riley. His offensive play style, I love it. I just think that would really lend well to the NFL game. But if you're gonna stay in the NFL, coordinator wise, Eric Bieniemy for sure. That's a guy that I think would offensively help bring this team to another level.
So my answer.
Oh, is that your answer?
Oh my God, yeah. I think he is a solid choice. Don't want to give him a chance for a head coaching job, but I mean, it's just his background. I mean, he was once a quarterback. I mean, a running backs coach, wasn't he?
I believe he started out as a position coach. I can't remember which one.
Right. I believe that's what it was. I mean, I remember his playing days. So he was a nice two-way running back. But I think it just his philosophy and his background and resume would just go a long way on Chicago, because Chicago is a run-first team. And we have the personnel to be that, and yet we're.
But that's why I think Lincoln Riley would really fit, because even though Lincoln Riley has a big pass game, he loves his quarterbacks and he loves the way that they play. His offense is predicated off of the run, and so I think that
will it be able to translate into the I've seen a very rocky transition between that would
definitely be the risk.
That's the only reason why I put him at 2.
Yeah.
I didn't even reject it. It's just like, oh my God, if they don't hit,
and
these coaches are horrible.
But I think if there's any head coach that's going to hit in the NFL from the college ranks, it's gonna be Lincoln Riley. Like that dude, the way that he has been for the last 4 or 5 years over there at Oklahoma, man, that offense is just too power. I mean, and you see it because those guys that come into the NFL and they just are flying. They don't skip a beat.
Is he looking to leave?
I don't think he is. You would really have to show him like a real plan of how he would be the focal point here in Chicago, which is not Chicago style, but that's exactly what I want. I want to see something different out of Chicago.
Right.
So, I mean, if they were to do something like that and go to Lincoln Riley and really say, hey, we want to hand you the keys, they should do what Jacksonville did to the wrong coach in Urban Meyer, and we'll get to him in a second. But because if you're going to do that to any head coach, Lincoln Riley would be the guy. I don't, because I mean, obviously Nick Saban, but Nick Saban's not leaving Alabama. Like, and he's tried the head coaching thing in the NFL.
It didn't go well.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, yeah, Lincoln Riley. He's still young. I'm sure he had aspirations before to be the head coach in the NFL. And given him that opportunity, I would really love to see it. But like you said, I would not be any way upset if we went coordinator route, Eric Bieniemy, and brought him over, just because that's more of a surefire way if he already knows the NFL game and he doesn't have to try to retranslate anything.
And it was on a short list. I was like, man, he would be at the top of my list.
Yeah.
But now, if you want to get one of the old fogies at somewhere, I haven't thought that far.
Go back and go get Vic Fangio, please. Lure him back away from Denver.
I know this is not going to be a popular statement. I'm just to go back quickly. Just because I think they got a better personnel now, man, now bring back John Fox. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's actually, no, that is not a bad take.
I'm just like, I know some people were down on him. I'm like, dude, until he got to Chicago, that dude only knows how to win, okay? I'm like, he took freaking Jake Delhomme. Look it up, people, to the Super Bowl. Who's Jake Delhomme? Exactly. That's all I want to say. Just, yeah. Early Carolina Panthers. I mean, oh gosh, you talking about going back in the day. Yeah. That was John Fox, people. And then he goes to Denver. Yeah, he inherited a team, but hell, I've seen a lot of coaches inherited very good teams and they can't even sniff the playoffs. Was that his team?
No, that wasn't his team that went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That was him?
He was on the sideline. Okay. Yeah. He won with him and lost with him.
Gotcha.
He was in both of them.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, then he left. Then he came to Chicago. I was
Chicago. That was 2017.
I was like, oh my God, we got this dude been in 3 Super Bowls. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, I'm just like, just get us to the Super Bowl. I don't care if we lose the Super Bowl. I do, but but I mean, to win an NFC Championship game, look, I'll celebrate it like it's my Super Bowl because ain't nothing guaranteed in the Super Bowl game itself. You know what I'm saying? It was for Chicago fans to get an NFC Championship right now. Yeah, we got
it. It's been 15 years.
Exactly. And even that was kind of like, oh my God, are we really going to win? It was a really weird team. That
should have won that game. It got freaking Rex Grossman.
Exactly my point. So, but yeah, he's personally on my list. John, sure. I'm like, please bring him back.
That would work too. I would be towards the bottom of my list, but definitely would not. Anything. I mean, I
can't just say, "Well, give me Belichick." No, I'm kidding. Go leave. Could we have him? Really? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's trade for him.
I'll take Matt Rule.
No, okay. Trading for coaches now. We can keep the players.
Let's stay on the NFC. NFC North for that. Mike Zimmer. I think he should be on the hot seat. Minnesota head coach.
I think it's time.
Records 1-3.
I do like the fairness of Minnesota, and I'm gonna let you do your stats in a second. I just wanted to say I do like the fairness that they really give their coaches time.
Oh yeah, and that is not usual in the NFL. No,
but sometimes to a default they give them too much time.
Yeah.
And now you notice I never said anything. I've been pretty cool about Zimmerman, but I think this year is the year. Like, okay, dude. If nothing else, we're at least talking about it this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you don't get a pass any further. look, dude, impressive playoff push or bust for you at
Yeah,
this
because
point.
they've been this team that is, I think it's what, odd years they're in the playoffs, even years they're out of the playoffs. They're always ebbing and flowing. They have a really good year, and then for some reason every other year the bottom just keeps falling out. But the bottom fell out last year, and you're off to a really rocky start this year.
Right.
And you lost to Cincinnati. You lost a close one in week 2. You finally got a win, and you lost again. Like it's not conducive to continue to play like that. And their offense is stagnant, in my opinion. They're very ineffective, very inefficient. I mean, that Cleveland game really shed a light on how, I mean, if you get any sort of a good defense on them, Nick Foles, I mean, not Nick Foles, he looks like Nick Foles right now. What is his name?
Like
Kirk Cousins.
Like the Bears, Nick Foles.
Yeah, it just looks bad. And so I think Mike Zimmer, I don't know if he's just out of touch right now or what the case is, why he can't get the offense going. I know he's a defensive minded head coach and he's a run first guy, but it's like, hey, we got to make something new.
I think he's done his best work. It's just we seen what he did, and it's just at the point of the organization having to make a decision. We may need to just go in a different direction. Not that he's doing anything wrong. It's just not gonna. You know what I'm saying? It's just we've seen his best days already. I believe. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think you've done everything you're gonna do in Minnesota at this point. Like the team and where it's at. I just don't see any.
They don't have very
jumps.
much money.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, because we have Cousins. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, like now, if they want to be bold and trade off Cousins and get the
can't trade that contract.
Get rid of Cousins, whatever. They're paying the money no matter what. But to get it off your cap, and then just go start that rookie and just start over. You know, but
I don't know if Kellen has it.
I ain't saying he does, and I'm sure they didn't draft him with this in mind. But my point being is, this is where they really at. Yeah. You know, and all I'm saying, I know. Oh, people are like, oh. I'll just hold your horses. Hold on. Ain't nobody talking about that. Y'all mentioning that. Okay, give 2 more losses. Dun 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 dun. It's gonna be leading. You know, all of a sudden the jump, get up, so on and so. It's just gonna go down the list, undisputed. You know, so everybody's talking about it now. And God, this Cousins guy, and you just and you know, dot, and then that's just gonna be your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday conversation.
I agree. I think that it was a sneaky good. The contract wasn't getting him to sign there in Minnesota was sneaky good by their organization at the time, and then you do the contract and you're like, oh well, that's a question. And now it's just like, wow, this one did not hit to me, and it's not looking good. And Zimmer, you haven't been able to get it done. You let Stefanski walk, and he's now over in Cleveland doing big things. And
is he?
Yeah, and he just came into your house and just kind of kicked you in the mouth. Like they went down one drive with Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson scored twice on that drive.
Wiped his dirty shoes on your carpet.
Yeah.
Ate a sandwich, dropped the crumbs, everything, and didn't care, and wiped his hands on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he did. Yeah, they came in there and they beat them, and then and for that to happen, and now you guys are 1-3. You're not even at 500 anymore, and it's going to be a tough slog to get back to 500. I don't see how you can say, Zimmer, you're safe for the year.
Oh, can I put the PS on it?
What's that?
Don't lose to Detroit. All of this comes up if they lose to Detroit. I was trying to say a couple games from now. No, they can't lose this one, because now you're saying they're 1-3. Yeah, that's this week.
Ooh. Oh, and it's in Minnesota.
Exactly.
And you lose at home to
Detroit.
Ooh.
He might be fired.
Yeah, then and there, right on the spot.
When you said hot seat, he might be on the hottest technically. I mean, but it's only based on a scenario.
Well, no. Again, there's Urban Meyer's on the hottest seat, and we'll get to it in a second because we got one more before him.
Okay. Go ahead. That's fine.
Let's talk Joe Judge out in New York. New Jersey rather. East Rutherford, and with the Giants. This team is just sloppy, man. I mean, I know they won this week, but even with this win, I'm like, I'm
batting 1,000. I can't get New York. I can't get this pick right to save my life. But I said that just shaking my head like, you know what, typical. I don't even care. Like I told you, I'm never gonna pick y'all.
For the rest of the year, I'm gonna let you pick the New York Giants game first, and I'm just gonna go opposite.
Might as well. Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You want to that's gonna be your fail safe.
No, but
for the whole year.
they are just sloppy. It's not cute. It doesn't look put together in any means. There's no development of Daniel Jones by any means. Like it's just across the board. I have no. I just and the issue is that I don't think it's Joe Judge's fault. I do think it comes from above him, but at a certain point, you're just like, these New England disciples just aren't going to hit for you. So you might as well just move on. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that one might be the coldest of the hot seats, but it just that Giants team as a whole to me is just like, ugh.
I could see it. And unfortunately, they just came in and they tried to cash in on a very, what I would call a down market.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this ain't the time to hit hard, you know. And Daniel Jones, I mean, you know, they was able to kudos to getting Saquon Barkley. I think that was a solid pick.
Yeah.
You know, granted, yeah, he fell on some tough times with his injuries.
But hey, you got to remember, they could have been the one with Sam Darnold.
True. It's true. But man, just bad. How bad they play. Sam Darnold might have only been a couple steps higher than what he was doing at the Jets. So I can't sit there and just say that everything would have changed because I don't know. Because what I do know is the Giants and the Jets are horrible and have been really bad, and Carolina hasn't. And Sam Darnold has played well in Carolina. That's all I do know. So until he went to New York and played great, I can't say that's what he would have did. So, but yeah, I'm just taking certain names. I'm just bringing up Daniel Jones, Evan Ingram, like you know, just for what you just did.
Kadarius Toney.
For what you just did. Kadarius Toney, you know, they talked all of this hype, and
has he played?
Where is he?
Yeah.
I mean, he might have played maybe 12 more snaps than us.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know, but not much. And because this team's not ready, and it's directionless, and I'm saying that Joe Judge might be very well on that hot seat, but I don't think it's his fault. It's just you inherited a very, very piss poor team right now, and with some very questionable.
Should be fired.
And you know, and you got Mr. Galladay who wants just wants a payday. You don't care, you know. And
he does clearly care. I mean, he had that whole outburst. It looked like another. Speaking of Odell, when he was on the sideline, he goes back and says that he was talking to the coordinator. Yeah, I think it was last week.
That was just this past week.
No, the week before.
Oh, when they went 0-3.
Yeah. Okay. Once they lost that game, because he was on the sideline, he was giving lip service to. What he says was to a coach over there, but it looked like he was talking directly to Daniel Jones. He was at him. So like he clearly cares. It's just a matter of you chose to be here, dude. Like what the hell are you talking about? Like you know what it was before you even came here.
Again, it was a payday. I don't know. I mean, granted, it might be, and I'm not even saying just his contract. I'm probably sure he got endorsement deals. Yeah, he's in the New York market.
He's in New York, yeah.
And that was the point. It was just a business deal. But it's like now we're playing football. You got to take the bitter with the sweet, sir. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, you knew what you were signing up for.
Exactly.
I mean, anything less than that, you're delusional. Because this team, you wasn't just gonna elevate them to just we number 2, number 3 in the NFC. That's not gonna happen. So you know. I mean, kudos to you. Had your first decent game last week, and I'll give you that. But with that, we're talking about the hot seat. And yes, by just looking at the direction of where this team is and just looking at their depth chart, I see so many players on the IR. It's ridiculous. At least 7.
Jeez. Well, let's talk Urban Meyer now. Let's talk Jacksonville.
9 to be exact. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. But Jacksonville, Urban Meyer, 0-4 record.
Okay.
That's also that's as bad as it can get.
Jacksonville.
Yeah. But let's go back to before the season even started. He gets hired. You bring in a dude that has multiple abuse allegations against him to be your strength coach and have to immediately fire him because of the backlash that he got for that.
What better strength coach to have
They want to beat children.
Well, I wasn't gonna finish it, but yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know it was that children. I just thought it was.
Well, he was a college coach. He got reported for abuse at his old college, and I think it also at his old high school.
I'm just saying, these are grown men, so grown men need to learn. On a team like Jacksonville, maybe they need to be pushed.
That he's running illegal practices at OTAs, which they got fined for.
Okay, I can explain that.
You definitely could, but it doesn't change the fact. And then you got this past weekend where he's letting random women that aren't his wife grind on him at his own bar out in Columbus, Ohio. Like, dude, in on top of the fact that you did not fly home with the team after the game. That has never been heard of in the NFL ever. Like, yes, you on an extended week where you play on Thursday and you definitely could, but you go back home, you get the team home, you do your meetings, and then you fly out. You don't do that the night after, and especially where where everybody knows who the hell you are at your own bar in Columbus.
To jump on his vacation, man. What are you talking about? It's like, why do I have to kill 2 days when I could just go straight here? I will see y'all in 6 days. I don't know. Not a good look. It's just more of just perception, and not that he did anything, but it implies so much negativity. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
On top of that,
because you coach Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
You probably just needed to.
But I think the nail in the coffin for him is what happened on Monday.
Okay.
He comes back and okay, it's time for team meetings. Not cancel those. We're not doing team meetings. We're not doing a full team meeting. Nope. It's too much pressure. He didn't even want to face the team.
He's checking out.
The only way that he was able to apologize to the team after that was to go to each individual position group meeting and talk to them. And we don't know what happened behind closed doors, but we do have a report coming out that every single one of the meetings that he left, team meeting rooms, they basically laughed him out of the office. And it was like, dude,
ridicule laugh? No, just it was humorous story between the guys type thing. I mean,
not sure, but either way, when you're trying to make an apology to your guys and you're trying to show them that, hey, we got to focus on things that are bigger than that right now. Those types of conversations that happen from week to week, that cannot be the response that you get from your guys. And that just means to me that you've this entire locker room has lost respect for you.
Sad. This is sad. Oh gosh.
So I mean, and then yesterday we have the press release coming out from Shad Khan, semi backing Urban Meyer, but definitely using verbiage that allows him to, if he does decide to fire him, not have to pay him. So to me, Urban Meyer is not. I mean, he's a mistake or two away from losing this job, and it might be him out faster than I thought, because I thought it was going to be a one and done thing for me when it came to Urban Meyer. But now it looks like it might be 5 weeks and done.
I have a different take. And then what you're saying, I understand it, and that's fair. What my issue is this. It's been the ultimate Trump. It didn't matter who the coach was.
Yeah.
It's freaking Jacksonville. Like, who's coming in there turning this thing, hear me out, just turning it inside out or turning it upside down overnight? No, not even. I don't care who you can. Belichick, Seifert, what's his name? Used to be in Pittsburgh. Does commentary.
I
don't know why his name is
Bill Cowher.
Yeah. Hell, take the other one from Pittsburgh right now.
Mike Tomlin.
It does not matter. It is freaking Jacksonville.
The only thing that would matter to me, though, is that all of the head coaches that you just named all come synonymous with fantastic, well-respected, and well-known cultures of a football team. Not this, I can't even face my own players because I have pictures of me grabbing on this woman's derriere, if you will, getting plastered all across the internet. This doesn't happen anywhere else. Like that's where I'm just like, what type of culture are you trying to set here where you're skipping out after games to Go do what? What was that?
Jacksonville. And I'm saying I don't know if it's just an Urban Meyer issue or problem as opposed to it's a Jacksonville organization problem. Like,
well, the organization should have never allowed him to be off of that plane in the first place, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. But yes, there is a Jacksonville issue here. It is Jacksonville and the organization sucks, but that's an Urban Meyer problem. That's just if you want to call that a lapse in judgment, that's fine. But that's more than just me.
That's like who they're gonna replace this guy with. It's like your best bet is just to let this ride out with him.
I don't know, because it comes down to culture building to me. Because culture is a huge. I mean, you could put Joe Judge on this team. That's not happening. Like put Matt Nagy on this team. That's not happening.
That's true. They can, unless they want to call Tom Coughlin back up. He can come coach the team again at what is it, like 92?
I don't know.
But he has two titles.
Yeah.
Who did he beat?
No.
All right. He did what three other teams failed to be able to do when they had the game in hand.
Atlanta choked. That's just Atlanta, though.
That's number one on the list. then you're up next, Seattle.
Yeah. All right. Well. And the only other thing I want to talk about is, since we are a quarter of the way through the season now, just kind of some of the weird stuff that we're seeing in the standings as it is right now. There are a couple of ones that are like, okay, that's not shocking. AFC East, Buffalo's at the top. Miami's right behind them. New England, right behind them. Jets have the same record, but still, they're down at the bottom. Mm-hmm. But then you got divisions like the AFC North, where you've got Cincinnati on the top of it, but tied with Baltimore and Cleveland, and then
is that like a what the hell?
Yeah, Pittsburgh's down at the bottom there.
Completely like, yeah.
Go ahead. AFC West, Chargers lead the pack, which isn't too shocking because I mean you're in contention with Kansas City, but Kansas City's at the freaking bottom. What the hell is that?
That's the shocker. What's at the bottom? That's what's at the top.
And then you got, I mean, what some people might consider is kind of chalk NFC North, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, and then NFC West, Arizona.
Why does the NFC North be just so semantically
right there?
3-1, 2-2, 1-3. Okay, y'all made that pretty simple. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but then you got the NFC West, where Arizona was not the team anybody had winning this division for one, but then Rams, they're 3-1. Seattle and San Francisco are duking it out the bottom at 2-2 now. So
500 duking it out.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an overachieving division. Go ahead.
But then you also have got the NFC South, Tampa Bay. They lead it, but they're only by some obscure tiebreaker because the Carolina also is 3-1, and they're looking like a really
could have arguably been 1-3 this year.
True. So I mean, across the board, this is a fun part of the season where you're looking at some weird stuff, looking at these standings, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of ebb and flow there. I just wanted to get your take on some of these standings.
What was most not shocking? The only over team in the NFC. Yeah,
Detroit.
Don't look. Stop it. I'm like, just, you know what? If there's ever anything that you can count on in life besides death and taxes, Detroit Lions record.
Take Detroit in the under.
Every single time. My gosh. I mean, they put up a fight. Trust me, they're. Is it fair to say that they are much stronger, much more dangerous 0-4 team than what this record shows? Like,
oh god,
for what they put out
this
there.
Is a better 0-4 team than New York, the Giants, and the Jets at 1-3. This is a better 0-4 team than Atlanta is at 1-3. Hey, arguably better than Pittsburgh at 1-3 as well. Do we say that?
I want to say, man, arguably better than Washington at 2-2. To be honest with you. I'm not impressed with Washington, but moving on. That was just not a Washington plug. I was just going and I wanted to see who was the next team up
there. But I think Detroit is better than a lot of these teams that have a better record than them. So I mean, This is a very scrappy team. I was not sitting idly by when Chicago was playing them this past week. I was not going to say that was going to be a cakewalk for Chicago by any means, but Detroit did Detroit and had a couple of turnovers that are just like, dude, what the hell was that?
Miami definitely been playing better than them at 1-3. New England,
Houston,
not necessarily. Jets definitely. Houston, yeah. Indianapolis though, that
would be a tough fight. That'd be a good game to watch.
Yeah, that would.
I mean, hey, Denver at 3-1 versus Detroit. I'm watching that game.
Of course, yeah. I mean, is this with or without Bridgewater?
Either one. I don't care.
Okay.
No, you're right. The Detroit is a formidable 0-4 team, but it is Detroit out to be
exactly.
0-4.
Which are only sharing that with Jacksonville.
Yep.
Wow.
And nobody would have ever.
And that's the sad part. They're like light years away from each other.
Yeah, Detroit is so much better than
microcosmic box that they are so far away from each other in that little box. But yeah, that's. Oh gosh.
No.
Yeah, they are who I thought they were.
Then look at the flip side. Who would have thought Arizona's the only undefeated team left in the NFL?
Throw the papers like you could have sold me on 3-1, but 4-0 I would have I would have lost it all because I was like, ain't no way they getting to 4-0 and just no. But they are that team, so just man, the plethora of these 3-1 teams in the AFC is just it's baffling, especially like you were saying, the AFC North is just like
it's 3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
What the world is going on here?
The same thing in the AFC West, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
And Kansas City's not a part of that. And,
no,
and Cleveland's not at the top of that 3-1. By the way, it's just like
it's Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Now, if you said Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, I would have been like, oh, okay. Cincinnati, number one?
Hey, they're out there doing their thing.
What? Man, this is with no offensive line.
No.
Oh, my God.
That's why I think this is going to fall apart very quickly for them. But I want to give them their props as they're
the coach of the year kind of candidate here.
Ooh, Zach Taylor?
Look what this man's doing. I'm just saying, for 4 weeks.
If they keep it up, I will say.
We can revisit this in week 8.
Yeah.
Like, let's get 4 more games out because they could go 1-3 in the next 4. So.
Yeah, it's going to look like a completely different team.
Right. And we're looking at them, they go, oh, y'all 4-5. Interesting. Like, get out of here. You that team I thought you was going to be anyway. So, but just impressive. Can we throw a division away? Is that possible?
Which one are we trying to throw away?
You already know.
AFC South? Yeah.
I told you going. Can we just throw them out?
And I will say, I think the AFC South is this year is worse than the NFC East. NFC East is no longer the NFC least.
No, it's right here in the South, man.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is not. Oh, this is parody. No, parody.
No, this is horrible. This is bad. This is bad football all around.
Completely. For various and different reasons.
Which is funny because Jacksonville played their best game of the year so far and still lost.
Huh. Tennessee, they did worse game, still lost.
Yeah. I just wanted to look at those and have a little discussion on what.